Hello everyone, this is Yoda from Team Loaded, and I'm doing my second video for Nerdstomper.com. This video is going to be on Pebbles, and the replay is going to be from a recent public game that I played. So the general strategy with Pebbles is to get a portal key, and then blink on top of the enemy heroes, and start and combo them, and do about 1,000 damage instantly and kill them. The reason that works is because the way the game works is if you use your stalagmites and toss on the same person, then they're going to take double damage from your stalagmites. Once you get your portal key, that's really easy, so this video is going to focus on getting to that point. The first thing I want to talk about is my starting inventory. If you notice, I have 2 minor totems and a Runes of the Blight. The reason it's so skimpy is because I want to rush a bottle, since bottle heals mana at a fixed rate and my mana pool is really low. We also need just enough mana to be able to use both our spells at level 3, and as it turns out, 2 minor totems is exactly enough to do that. So that means that any more mana items that we buy are just going to be wasted, because all that matters is that we're able to use both spells. We don't need to use both spells and have like 50 mana left over, because that's just a waste. So I mentioned that it's important that we have enough mana to use both spells at level 3, but I didn't say quite why. So the reason is that at level 3, if we land our combo, as in hitting our avalanche and our toss on the opponent, and having the avalanche also do double damage, then it's about enough to do lethal damage as long as we've hit them like 3 times. Most people aren't going to expect that from a level 3 hero, since before that you're not really doing anything except hitting creeps. So you're going to be able to pick up a lot of early kills just by walking up to people at level 3 and trying to fight them. It's really important that you actually manage to hit your combo on them though, because if you walk up to them and then almost kill them, then you're pretty much defenseless, since you'll be out of mana and really just out of any way to stop them from killing you, since you're right next to them as well. One trick that will let you pull your combo off more successfully is to use your stun, and then after you use your stun, walk up to them so you're really close to them, and then use your toss. So right in this game, I actually happened to choke a little bit, since I used my stun and then did not immediately use my toss, and a creep walked in the way, which made my toss select the creep as the closest unit to throw, which meant that I didn't throw the Soul Stealer, which meant that he didn't take double damage from the avalanche. In this game, the Soul Stealer actually got a bottle pretty quickly, so his HP is not going to be half or less for the second kill, so it's going to be just as hard as the first one. When you're going up against the Soul Stealer middle, that's basically all your strategy is just keep trying to walk up to him and kill him. If he backs in time, then that's alright. He's not CSing during that time, and you can get a couple creep kills. And if he doesn't, then hopefully you're going to get a kill. Another thing I want to mention about hitting your combo is that it's not actually important that you hit your toss immediately as soon as you use your stun. One thing that you can do is use your stun and then walk up to them and use your toss, as long as it's within about half a second. The problem with that method is that it doesn't always do the full damage, and while they're stunned, instead of hitting them, you're walking towards them. So what I'm going to do here, since he's full HP, is I'm going to walk towards him and start hitting him a couple times, and I'm not going to combo him until I'm right next to him, and I'm going to keep hitting him a couple times. As you play Pebbles more, you're going to get a better feel for how close you need to be to deal however much HP they have in damage, so it actually takes quite a bit of practice. All I can tell you now is just in general, when you're closer to them it does a lot more damage, and when you're further away from them it does less. So after you get your bottle, the next item you're going to want is going to be marchers, because when you have marchers it's a lot easier to get closer to your opponent, and it's a lot easier to use your combo. After I get my marchers, generally the next item I like to get is I like to finish the steam boots, because once you have steam boots you can cast a lot more avalanches than if you just have marchers. Like if you have just marchers, then you can combo maybe once, and if you have steam boots, then you can combo once you can combo twice with your mana, and 2 bottle charges will give you another combo, so you can combo like 3.5 times with a bottle. For those of you that don't know, in my last video I explained how you get extra mileage out of your bottle if you have steam boots. So basically, right before you use your bottle, you switch to agility steam boots, and that will lower your max HP and mana pool, and the bottle is going to heal a higher percentage of that than what it normally is. So then after your bottle's done using, you switch back to intelligence steam boots, and that will increase your mana pool by quite a bit. So here what I'm going to do is just, since we're both in the lane, and I'm going to just keep doing what my strategy was I said before, just keep trying to combo him.
But one error I made here is that he was too far away when I started my combo. Remember what I said before, farther away means you can do less damage. So he was too far away and I tried to combo him, which means I wasted like basically my entire mana pool. So I'm gonna have to bottle up and try again later. What I should have done instead is just either walk up and then when I realized he was too far away, just start running back, or I could have just started to grind him down with my toss, like use a toss and then use a bottle charge. So as it turned out, I guess my strategy worked pretty well because I just went up to him and then got him really low, and then he wasn't smart enough to go back to heal when he was half HP, and that made him dead to my next combo. So what really worked for me that time was just having marchers, because since I had marchers I was able to walk such that I cut him off from his tower, and if he can't walk to his tower, the only place he can walk to is down the river. And since I have marchers, he's not going to escape by running down the river, because that's a really long way to walk when I have higher move speed. So now that we've got a little bit of dead time, I'm going to talk about what items I'm going to get on Pebbles in the later game. So after Steam Boots, obviously the next item is going to be Portal Key, since remember when I said closer distance is more damage? Well, Portal Key lets you be right next to him, and it also lets you land your combo more often because you're able to position yourself such that your toss is always going to choose them. What item to get after Portal Key is where the debate really starts. I've seen a lot of different item builds. Some people like to get Demonic Breastplate. I've seen Elder Parasite. I've seen Codex. I've just seen a lot of different item builds. The item I like to get is Puzzle Blocks, because you do need some extra mana. Like, the extra mana definitely benefits you, and the other reason is that Pebbles isn't. It's really hard to focus fire a hero with Pebbles, since blinking on them and comboing them puts you into the range of a lot of enemy heroes. So Puzzle Blocks allows you to do damage without getting focused. One thing I did a couple seconds ago on the video that was tricky is that when I didn't have a full mana pool, I walked up to the Soul Stealer in middle, and what that really did was, I don't know if you noticed the time, but the rune was just about to spawn. So what I did was I walk up to him, and since he's been dying to me a lot, he really wanted to back up, and since he backed up, that'll let me get to the rune before him. Since we just saw Torture hanging around middle, right now I had like exactly 950 gold, so I decided it was a good time to back off and not really go near the creeps since Torture could be around, and also use the time to buy some Steam Boots. So since we've got a little bit of dead time now, I want to talk about Pebbles' skill build, since I haven't mentioned that yet. You definitely want to get Stalagmites over Toss every time, since at level 1 Stalagmites is better because it's just like Toss except it's ranged. And at every other level you want to get it over Toss, because when you're comboing, your Stalagmites is what hits twice, not your Toss. So by getting an extra point in Stalagmites, you're basically just doubling your damage output. So now that I just got my Steam Boots, what you've noticed is I switched it to Intelligent Steam Boots, and then I used 2 spells on Soul Stealer from long range to grind him down. Since with Steam Boots my bottle's a lot more effective than his, and basically if I just keep doing that to him, he'll run out of bottle charges before I do. So what I did here was, since it's nighttime, I realized that his sphere of vision's going to be lower, so that allowed me to sneak into the trees above him before he got vision of me. I didn't really need to use that trick though, because since I just used Steam Boots and used both my nukes on him, he was already at like half HP. So I probably could have just killed him from like half a screen away, like I tried to do earlier and failed to do, but since this time he had half HP, it would have worked. So now what you see me doing is checking the rune. Normally you shouldn't have to check a rune if you weren't sure it's going to be there, since your allies should have put words up, but since this is a public game, that doesn't always happen. And almost kind of as a result of that, I didn't see that Torture got an illusion rune, so I wasted my mana on him, and now I have to go heal. I probably didn't have to waste mana on him though, because after that one attack I made, I probably should have been able to tell he was an illusion. One thing to keep in mind when you're playing Pebbles is that 240 is the magic number for amount of mana you want to have. When you have 240 mana, you can do your combo and basically you're just at 100% effectiveness, but less than that means that you're just not going to be effective at all. So basically if you have like 280 mana, then don't go just like using one of your spells, because that's basically your entire mana pool, because you can't do spells anymore. What I did right here, it was kind of greedy, because since I'm already so far ahead, trading 1 for 1 is a really bad deal, even if I get the experience first.
What I should have done instead is just what I did last time, like use the advantage I have from Steam Boots and Bottle to grind him down with nukes, and then when he's about half HP I can kill him from almost anywhere, and I should have just done that. I did make a pretty good example though of the distance equals damage thing I was talking about earlier. Since I did it from about half a screen away, he barely was in the range for a double damage from my stalagmites combo, and I was only able to get attacks in after he was already back from stun, so he was able to actually nuke me and attack me a couple times, which resulted in my death. And dying with pebbles before you have your portal key is really bad because it's an item you need to save up quite a bit of gold for. 2,000 gold's a lot for the early game. So even if you're going to get a kill but die for it, it's generally not worth it with pebbles until you have portal key. Dying just after you get portal key also isn't very good because right after you get portal key is your prime time to be getting kills. So what I'm going to do here is, since Torture's like really low HP and is probably just going to die even if I don't double stun him, then what I did was I walked so that Soul Stealer would walk towards the Torture, and that allowed me to hit both of them with both nukes, which was, as you saw, a really effective strategy. A lot of the time when you're playing Pebbles, what's going to happen is there's going to be like a hero at half HP in a fight and a hero at full HP, and what you really want to do is throw the full HP hero at the half HP hero, and then throw a stun in the direction where both of them are. So both of them are going to get hit by both of your nukes, and the full HP hero is going to bear the full brunt of your combo. One thing that makes this easier is just keep in mind how people are going to react to your movements, like what I did with that Soul Stealer. When I walked to cut him off from the right, he walked to the left, which was towards the Torturer, which allowed me to hit both of them with the nukes. So at this point, basically I've got about 1,500 gold, and I've just bottled the regeneration rune, and basically all I have to do is spam a couple creep waves and maybe get a hero kill, and I'll have my portal key and I'll be on my way to dominating the game with Pebbles. So the important things to remember from this video are not to waste your mana, especially if it's going to put you below 240, and also that the closer you are to the enemy hero, the more damage you're going to do. Once again, this is Yoda from Team Loaded, and I hope you enjoyed this video.